Shenzhen. On the right side, there are exhibitions about Beijing, Hebei, Tianjin, Shanxi. Let's look at the layout. There are opening ceremonies, intangible cultural heritages on your fingertips, on the clouds, and 7 others. 19 provinces and municipalities dispatched over 30 inheritors to showcase their projects. In the opening ceremony, there will be the music and dancing heritages. 19 provinces, together with Xinjiang, will present us over 3 dozens of projects. And another highlight is about the interesting heritages, which is a combination of the highlights of all the intangible cultural heritages. Today with us, we have invited an investigator from Xinjiang Culture and Tourism Bureau, Dong Yan. Good morning, everyone. I am Dong Yan, an investigator of Xinjiang Culture and Tourism Bureau, and I'm going to take you into this expo. What are the highlights for today's exhibition? Let's walk this way. Could you share with us about the special features for today's expo? We implement the instructions by President Xi Jinping during his visit to Xinjiang. We have about 19 provinces who share sisterhood with us, so we hope to stage such a platform for all of our sister provinces in order to carry on such fine intangible cultural heritages. I heard that there are about 339 heritages to be exhibited, and this is the preface. It tells the story about our partnership with 19 provinces and municipalities. In Hetian, we have unearthed such a carpet, a handmade carpet. It could be traced back to the era of Sima Qian. In this preface, we shared 40 intangible cultural heritages that come from the 19 provinces. These heritages also witness our friendship with the 19 sister provinces. It's a very vivid clay figurine. It's from Tianjin. Tea comes from the teapot. This is the good fortune vase. And on the vase, it's written, Xinjiang is a good place. It's very delicate. We will see Beijing, Tianjin, and 5 other provinces and municipalities expositions. First of all, we enter into Beijing Expo. Are those different expositions different? In the first and second floor, we exhibit the 19 provinces projects. But for the B1 floor, it's more about the projects from Xinjiang. I've seen so many visitors here. Excuse me? May I interview you? Are you here for the expo? Yes. Could you introduce about the highlights of this exposition? There are 5 segments in the Beijing show. The first segment is the figurines. And also there are some special figurines about Xinjiang. And also there are a lot of cultural heritages with the image of women from Tang Dynasty. Almost every segment is relevant to Xinjiang. And the second segment is themed under the city of Beijing 2022 Olympic Winter Games. Many masters have made those works. For example, Master Zhang, he will give you the details. As you know, the jade from Hetian is very famous. So many objects from the Winter Games in Beijing adopt the material of Hetian jade. This is a decorative vase with a lot of Xinjiang local patterns, for example, the patterns and drawings of the Silk Road. I can see the patterns of flowers on the vases. The Beijing Pavilion fully showcases the combination of cultural heritages and natural heritages. Why? Zhang Jiecheng is an intangible cultural heritage in Beijing, and we also have the professor from CAFA, so we have combined talents and good materials, and many of those materials are actually from Xinjiang. For example, the jade and also the ink. That's interesting. You can feel free to take a look. We learn a lot about the Hetian jade, but why is the ink relevant to Xinjiang? Look here. This ink is locally developed in Xinjiang. As you know, Xinjiang is a dry place. Based on the geographical situation and the climatic situation here in Xinjiang, we developed this ink. And this is Professor Ma Guoqing. He is a painter in Xinjiang, and this is his work. He used such a self-developed ink here to draw this painting. With good ink, the masters can give birth to good paintings. And look at this piece. You can interview this professor. He's a professor from CAFA. He has staged a training about the engravings on the jade. And he showcased the results of the Xinjiang trainees in that training course. It's a fairly good way of learning. What does this work mean? Based on the landform, in Xinjiang, we developed those different containers. You could see the change in the style and the shape. And according to our trainers, we not only need to dig deep into those materials, we also need to integrate our good ideas and creative ideas, especially into those containers. So we fully consider the landforms, the mountains and waters here, and folk customs here in Xinjiang to make those cups. For example, that showcase the cast landform, and that is the horseshoe shape. So the different shapes remind us of the special landforms in Xinjiang. So we call this piece of work sharing the beauty with everyone. As you know, the cups are very practical in our daily lives. So by using those materials in our daily lives, we could experience the cultural differences. People of all ethnicities could get in contact with such an interesting, intangible cultural heritage. We would love to visit the Tianjin Pavilion, so thank you for your time. We have a lot more to see today. Speaking of Tianjin, the mud figurine must be the most popular. In addition, we could see the technique of making calabash. Hello, Professor. Could you introduce to us about this? Is this the flower figurine? This is a folk arts. It's actually from Beijing. It's a flurry monkey. I thought it was made of the flower. Actually, no, it's made of herbs. That's the bud of magnolia flowers. In the springtime, we pick them up and make them into those flurry monkeys. And then, this is very good for some patients, for example, those suffering from ascites. How many years have you been doing this? 2 decades. Have you thought about how to pass on this technique? Young people like it, but the young people may not be composed enough to carry on this technique. So we have to locate the true lovers, and then they could help us to preserve and pass on this technique. How much time does it take to make such a one piece of work? For you, 10 minutes. For me, 2 to 3 minutes. After this live show, I would love to have a try. Thank you. It's a very delicate monkey. So those inheritors do have very good handwork. Hello there. Could you introduce to us about the dough modeling? Dough modeling has about 1,900 years of history. It was transmitted from Shandong province to Tianjin, then combined with the local features. The dough modeling is unique here in Tianjin. It's also a national level project. And here, the most typical figure of our modeling is about those made. The clothes on top of them are very thin. So basically, the textures of their clothes can be felt. It's almost semi-transparent under the sunshine. So you could judge that it's made of silk. We could showcase the textiles and features of the cloth. So it's made of dough? Yes, indeed. Xinjiang produces high-quality flour. So are all of those bears made of flour? That's true. And those decorations are for the kids and the young people. We put in some materials into it so that they can be resistant to the falling or the crashing. I see all sorts of different shapes. And in front of us, that's the Hebei Pavilion. And I see a wooden painting. Hebei is a sister province of Xinjiang Bazhou prefecture. Now let's look at such a xylograph. Xylograph, the so-called wooden painting, is fully handmade. And all the colors are rubbed on. By the name of it, the technique must be very stringent. Also, we will adopt some printing technique. So it's very skillful. And also it involves drawing. You have to draw first. Then you can rub it on and paint and print. It's fully handmade. So the inheritors of xylograph must be good at all those skills. And this is only the first step. As you can see, it's only a black drawing. Firstly, let's put the color on the piece of paper. How many steps do you have? 5. There are 5 colors: purple, red, yellow, blue, and black. And those 5 different colors will be put on the paper separately. How many years of experience do you have? 3 decades. I had a trainer first, then gradually I learned it. All the skills must be practiced. Which one is this step? And also, which step is the most difficult one? Drawing is the most difficult one because it involves your idea. You must have a very popular idea in order to be successful. If what you draw is not welcomed, then it's a failure. I see the colors are very bright. Usually such paintings will have very colorful effects. Now let me show you. Since this panel is sometimes very dry, I will spray some water, sprinkles, and then I brush the colors. This is actually ink. They have to make different colors, and that's quite challenging. It's very hard. So when we start to design the drawings, we have to fully consider the printing step. The drawing results must be adaptive to the printing technique. You're so proficient. This is a drawing of tiger, because this is the ear of tiger. It has a very auspicious meaning. Very beautiful. Thank you for the show. And now let's move on. This is embroidery. It's called Peking embroidery. It's also a royal embroidery. Could you introduce about the embroidery? We brought some representative works. This is the royal robes. It is worn by the emperor. This is a copy of the real robe because people need it for decorations and collections in the markets. How long does it take to complete such a work? Half a year to 1 year, because the robes involve different patterns and scales. I see so many colors on the robes. You can see some 12 patterns. For example, the moon, the sun, the ocean water. Those patterns are commonplace for the royal family. So with this exhibition, the Xinjiang people could have a glimpse of the royal culture. This is another artwork. This is the fourth batch of national level intangible cultural heritage. As you can see on the table, a lot of silk flowers are placed here. Over there, that's the pavilion for Shanxi. The first thing about Shanxi that pops into your mind maybe is the vinegar. I can smell it. Now let's have a taste of the vinegar. Shanxi vinegar is also a national level intangible cultural heritage. Excuse me? Could you please introduce about your vinegar? I can see different varieties of vinegar. Are they different? The best is the mature vinegar. But mature vinegar is made of the grains. It involves different grains. For the usual vinegar, it's made of only one grain. And secondly, it must be brewed for at least 1 year to make mature vinegar. That's why it's very fragrant and very rich. So we can use vinegar to make a lot of food. Those snacks are made of vinegar. It's very alluring. Just be my guest. This cookie tastes better than the marketized brands, for example, Oliao. With the vinegar and the sweetness and the salt, we are introducing the new consumption concept because it's healthy and organic. Also, the vinegar can be used to make the beverages. For example, this is the watermelon juice, and this one is the honey melon juice. Have a try. It's a beverage, yes. It's my first time to take the watermelon flavored vinegar. I can smell the vinegar. It's kind of sweet with the flavor of watermelon. Try this one for a change. Is this a beverage as well? Yes. Is it sour? It smells very sour, very stimulating. But actually when you drink it, it tastes good. Pretty good. Especially now in the hot summer. What's it made of? Vinegar, of course, with water and some honey. It must be very nutritious. There are a lot of snacks. For such a traditional seasoning, we can make it into different snacks. Those are like the derivative products of the vinegar. Vinegar cannot just be enjoyed while eating dumplings or noodles, but actually they can be made into so many food. Have a taste. Today, I see not only some intangible cultural heritages, I also have a taste of those edible projects. This is the beans made of vinegar. This is the copperwares in Datong. In Kashgar, if you have visited Kashgar, you will see a lot of Uyghur copperwares. Let's see the difference. Excuse me? You must be the inheritor? Yes. Could you please introduce about the Datong copperwares? We have a history of 2,000 years. Since 1973, Premier Zhou Enlai met the then Prime Minister of France, and the Datong made copper hot pot was on the table for their meeting. It's a national level gift. And is the technique of making such copperwares the same as the Uyghur ethnic copperwares? Of course, they have their own ethnic flavors and styles. For the Hui ethnic group, it integrates with the Han culture in Datong. We also have some copperwares usually used by Hui ethnic people or the Mongolian ethnic people. It's an embodiment of ethnic integration. Datong used to be an ancient capital. So in the years of peace, during the Northern Wei dynasty, Datong was already a capital city. So it has such a diversified culture of different ethnicities. I see you just knock the patterns on. It's a prince. This dragon has 4 claws. That means it's not used for the emperors. As to the tail, this is like the shape of a snake's tail. It's different from the royal family's dragons. That represents the hierarchical system. The pattern of dragons look quite the same. Of course, we can make the dragons with different materials, for example, the gold or silver. Since this is gold, which is hard, we need to use different sketches and different tools to engrave it. And also we need polishing. What is this ware? This is the cap of a pot. How long does it take to make such a copper hot pot? 10 to 15 days roughly. It's very delicate. What is the price for such a pot? Is it sold to the public? Because it looks like an artwork. Actually, it can be sold. Today we see the expositions from different provinces. This expo is a very rich cultural improvement to the local people. According to my knowledge, this expo about intangible cultural heritage is a brand new experience. It's quite shocking. Yes, they select the very unique local products after all. And for the Xinjiang local people, what are the benefits of this expo? First of all, the local Xinjiang people could have a first-hand experience to understand those intangible cultural heritages. Previously, they learned about them and heard about them, but now, this expo is a good publicity platform. We hold this expo so that people are all involved in protecting the intangible cultural heritages. Today we have visited the intangible cultural heritages from 5 provinces and municipalities. From different sides, we witness the good skills of the inheritors and their perseverance and their industriousness. So that's about all of our live show today. If our viewers are eager to visit this expo, please prepare the nucleic acid test result 7 days beforehand and also make an appointment online. You can see more than what I showed you. On the site, you will experience more. The intangible cultural heritages enrich local people's lives, and for another, those heritages are fully integrated into the daily lives. We would love the heritages to be known by more people and be transmitted further. Thank you for watching.